Welcome to After the Call, the podcast dedicated to the stories and struggles behind the badge, the turnout gear, and the uniform. Each week, we'll bring you a powerful conversations with first responders, mental health professionals, and advocates who are breaking the stigma, sharing their journeys, and offering real solutions. We'll talk about PTSD resilience, family impact, and the resources that can make a difference. Because the job doesn't just leave scars on the body, it affects the mind, the heart, and the people who serve alongside us. And no one should have to carry that burden alone. This is After the Call, where you'll find strength through resilience.
Welcome to another episode of After the Call. I am your host, Patrick. I have my co-host and friend, Jessica, today. And who do we have as guests?
Veronica.
Who is also the co-founder.
I'm Jamie.
And my wife.
I don't really feel like a guest. I feel like...
So today is going to be a sausage fest. As you can see, everybody is a lady, so I definitely feel outnumbered. But we're going to talk about spouses and first responders today. So hopefully we'll have some good conversation on what you guys experience, what you guys have liked, disliked, and then maybe give some feedback to our listeners, our watchers, on stuff that you guys can hopefully prevent. Cool.
Let me pull out my list.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a
Listen,
great list.
I know how long my list is, and I've only been doing the spouse thing for a few years, so
that's true.
I can only imagine.
So the good thing that we should probably disclose is you guys were in the first responder world prior to being married to a first responder now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys do have a different perspective, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were a first responder as well. So
Yep.
you have a perspective, not being married to one, but you can at least understand. Okay.
I've dated a few.
One of them. We have one of them. Just kidding.
Okay.
Anyways. So where do you guys even want to start with this? Because it's such a broad topic, and it's one of those things that, when we do peer support and stuff like that, we bring up topics. We talk about different ways that people are responding after calls and stuff like that. So maybe what are some things that you started noticing being married to a first responder? Like, what are like normal routines that you might see going into a week? Like, if a work week, right? So let's say husband starts on a Monday. So did you notice something changing on the day off right before going into work?
I didn't notice it right away, but yeah, you would change, but you were quiet about it.
Okay. So what kind of changes would you notice besides being quiet?
Probably a little bit of withdrawal.
Okay.
You would withdraw more than being like angry and stuff like that. But yeah, you would start mentally preparing, and I didn't understand what was happening. But
So I have a question. How were you already a cop when you guys got married?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah, he was. We met in we met in jail, right?
Well, I did not know that. I don't
Are you
think.
serious?
All right. So quick side story. So she was actually working up in dispatch, and they would do tours of different sections of the police department, whether it was records or evidence or whatever. And she just happened to be doing a tour in the jail. And I just booked somebody in. And since I used to work down in the jail, they were like, hey, why don't you go give them this tour? I'm like, okay. So I'm walking through this, busted up jail that the city of Mesa had. And I was like, hey, here's a cell. Here's the pedestal, all these things. And we went around and, yeah, we noticed each other and then kind of just went from there.
But it was different because we didn't have any interaction with each other because I was a 911 operator, so I didn't really talk to him. But we were Facebook friends, and yeah, so we started talking about that. But
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like the typical, like, send you a message over DXT, like, hey, let's meet up at QT.
yeah, nothing like that.
What time is your
And
lunch
so
break?
you also
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
know him before he was a cop to know,
No.
see any of the changes as they started or
Nope.
what you were like before. Okay.
Nope.
So it was a little bit different, yeah.
But I feel like I had some knowledge of first responder, obviously with me being a 911 operator. So I understood it, but I found out later that there was a lot of stuff he wasn't like opening up about. Because I don't think you knew what was going on either.
Right. And what about you and Dee?
Well, so Dennis and I met in the academy. We started the academy together. That's how we met. Oh yeah, my bad. That guy. And so we knew each other before we became cops, right? And then we got back together 18 years later. And by the time we got back together, I had already been through it myself and was on the other side of that, or at least coming out of the other side, I guess. And he was always very good at, he's good. He's very good at he's good. And so I really thought he was like, wow, like how has he been in this agency for so long, where he's been enforcement his whole time and he's still this good? Like, that's amazing. Like, I came from the number 2 safest town in the country, and I went through it. So yeah, I definitely have noticed. And the longer, the more he's still on, and maybe, I don't know if it's the better I get or what, but I definitely notice things like the beginning of the work week and stuff. So
I guess the question I have, when you were married to me, or
I
since you still are.
still am married.
So when you were married to me and I was on the streets, did you ever get concerned when you'd get like a random call out of somewhere?
From you?
Yeah. Like,
No.
I mean, was it one of those things like you're like, oh shit, he's calling me, like, is this good or is it bad? Or
I kind of always kept an open mind that it wasn't going to be bad. And I don't know if that was because I'm super calm and I just always hope for the best, I guess. I never was like, oh my God, he's calling. What happened? Did something happen to him? I never really felt like that. I always trusted that everything was good out there. It was more if I didn't hear from you, then I was like, what's going on?
I think we did a pretty good job of at least communicating if things happen.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
So we communicate throughout the day all the time. My concern is never not when he's calling me or getting a hold of me. It's usually like the headlines come out or the news or something will come up, and I'm like, and Phoenix is like the shittiest place out here. So anytime there's, and I know the work that he does there, so anytime there's something big, I'm just like, oh my God, is it him? And so usually I'll just look to see where he is, and if he's close. And that's happened once where about a year ago, we had a Phoenix officer killed, and I remember, like, I must have seen it heard it or something, I don't know. But I knew what him and his squad were doing that day. And then I heard about it on the news or something, and I was like, oh my God, I need to see, because I haven't heard from him. That's really weird. Normally if something goes down, he'll let me know. And I looked for his location, and he was literally in the area of where this incident happened. And I was like, and the phone's like not moving, there's nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, why isn't he answering his phone? Like, he's not responding. Like, who do I know? I need to call somebody. And it was like 20 minutes of trying to get a hold of everybody, and I was like, I'm going. I know where they're at. I'm going down there. Like, screw this. And finally, one of his friends got a hold of me, and they're like, they're looking for the guy. It's not him. He's one of the guys out there looking for him. And I was like, okay, well, fuck, tell him to call me. Like, you know better. And he did. And I was like, you know better. If something bad is happening, you need to let me know. So I'm not here freaking out.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that you said, that you had one of your partners would contact me if something was wrong. So hearing from you, I was like, you're good. So if your partner called me, then I'd be like, why is this guy calling me? So
Yeah.
I think that was why I was always like, if I'm hearing from you, then it's good. Because you would message me like, hey, I'm going to this big thing. Everything's good, secure, whatever. So you would let me know. So I didn't worry too much.
Yeah. And we had that set up, my partner and I, whoever I was working with, like, if shit goes down, like, you need to call this person.
Right.
Like, just tell her everything's fine or whatever.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess here's the question to you guys. Would you, for people that may either be new in relationships or looking to get in a relationship with a first responder, would you recommend it? So,
You have
see,
to
I
have
got
a
quiet right there.
very
It was like,
strong central core to you to deal with first responders.
I wouldn't not recommend it, but that wouldn't be like, hey, have you ever thought about dating a police officer?
It's not for the weak.
Right, that's true.
well, no, I mean, I would definitely do a little bit more homework than, oh, he's cool or she's cool. Like,
Because
Yeah.
you're all cool. Like, you're not going to come out and show the ugly side of things.
Well, that's the number one rule of cop is always look cool.
Well, and that was the thing, like with you, I wouldn't have cared if you were a garbage man. I liked you for you,
Right.
not because you were wearing a police
Exactly.
uniform. I mean, that was cool, but that wasn't the main reason.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
What about you, co-host?
I just blinked out there for a second. I mean, I feel like you have to be a very strong person, 911 dispatcher, police officer, fireman, any of them.
Okay.
I've lost really good friends in the line of duty while I was working the radio. And I couldn't even imagine being that person's girlfriend. You have to be prepared for that, and you always have to be ready because you never know what's going to happen. Never.
Yeah.
And I know we've had that talk. Have you and Dee had that talk?
Yes and no. He's very certain that nothing will ever happen. I'm obviously a little more like, listen, anything could happen. I know.
Sure.
I know what you do. Anything could happen. So.
But that's the reality. I mean, you go into the profession and you're like, am I going to die a warrior's death? Am I going to die along with my brothers and sisters? Which you don't want to, but if it is, like, that's the way to go, right? But you can't tell your spouse that and be like, hey, sorry, this probably could happen, or it might. But you need to have that real conversation.
Yep.
So that way, at least it's out there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that conversation, then I'm sure it'll probably eat a lot of people up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know some police wives that they don't relax until they hear the Velcro opening up, so to speak, when their husband gets home. And it's like, I don't know. I tried not to think like that. Just knowing you're out there and you're trained and you can do what you're supposed to do and that you're going to come home.
Yeah, you can't
You can't
live that
worry
way.
about
Yeah.
it. Like,
God,
You
no,
can't.
that's
You
not
can't. Yeah. Every time the garage door closes, you can't. You can't be on edge until
right.
the
until they
vest
come
comes
home.
off. Like that's not a way to live.
And like I said, it's not to say that I didn't care about you or I didn't think about you, but I didn't try to dwell on it.
Mhm.
Well,
I
and
worry twice.
well, yeah, and you should also have faith in the training and the fact that the person that you did pick to be with is doing everything they can to come home to you.
And then I always made sure that your life insurance was up to date.
Yeah. I was always wondering, like, why the hell is it
It keeps going up.
$7 million? Like, what is the deal with this? Like, are you hoping I would, or
No.
what are some other stresses that you guys would face?
The
Go ahead.
I talked to you about this morning.
Rice pudding.
Well, it's not rice pudding. We'll talk about that in a little bit after these messages. Just joking. It wasn't rice pudding. It was, you would text me. I had a big thing. I had a baby death or something. And it's a text message. So you're just like, okay, like, that sucks. Sorry. And then you'd come home and you'd blow up because you're like, why aren't you upset with me? And I'm like,
You're like,
I don't know. It was
wasn't
just a
there."
text message. Like, it wasn't the forefront of my mind. And I didn't realize that was like a thing. Like the whole mental health piece with that. It wasn't really a thing for me. And that was the stressful thing because I wasn't sure how much emphasis I was supposed to put on your bad call. Because if I
Sure.
put too much, then
Are you adding to it?
I'm adding to it. If I don't do enough, then I don't care. So that was a stressful thing.
So what were you wanting when you sent that?
I have no fucking clue. I mean, that's the thing is like, I think when we go through an extreme call, I think we're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know, we want to save face. We want to be the strong individual and whatever. And then on the inside, you know, the Tasmanian devil's like destroying everything. And, you know, you may have an idea of how somebody should react to it. And then you're like, well, you should already know how to react. Like, why aren't you doing this?
That's basically
Yeah.
what you would do.
So it was like this, I mean, you were screwed no matter what.
Exactly. And that was the tough thing is that you'd come home and you'd be fine and we'd be going about our day. And then the next day you blow up at me like, I just had a kid death yesterday. And I'm like, sorry, I'm wondering about what we're making for dinner tonight. Like, I didn't know that was still.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm trying to be insensitive that I don't care about it, but it was just, it didn't happen to me, so it
Right.
wasn't
No,
a
and
thing for me.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I honestly, I don't know if I wanted you to react a certain way or not. It was probably me more or less not understanding how I needed to react to it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I didn't have anybody. Like when I was a cop, I didn't have the person to like, if I had a bad call, I didn't have somebody to call and talk or to put it on, I guess. It was just something we left at work. But I also grew up in it, so I can remember hearing my dad talk about things. So it was very normal, big traumatic events and things were kind of normal to me. And so going to work and having them happen seemed normal. Like I expected that because that's what I knew about being a cop. I can say now, being on the other side of it, I think we have a unique understanding. Like he can tell me about a call, and it's not like there's nothing sensitive about it to me. I understand. He can say short, he can like paraphrase, and I totally understand, or he can tell me the details, and there's nothing shocking about it. It's just like talking to a partner about the call. So it's I don't know. He doesn't. It's not often that he tells me like if there's anything major that happens. He'll tell me like what they're working, I guess. But if something bad has happened or he's been on a scene where there's a lot of shitty things, he doesn't really ever say much about those to me, I guess. So I don't hear any of them.
Would you want him to?
I more only if he needed to voice it. If it was, his dumping ground or something. Because I think I'm in a unique situation where I can hear it and it's not shocking to me and I can relate, I guess. But it's not something, every now and then I guess he'll tell me things, but we talk about, normally like I can tell when he needs a check-in and we'll just be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? And usually it's, I'm good, whatever. And I'm like, or I'll be like, what are you feeling? He'd be like, I'm good. I'm like, I didn't ask how you are feeling. I'm asking what you are feeling and stuff. So we communicate a lot like that. I do. He's working on it.
He is still a guy, though.
We're gonna jump. So we're gonna jump into that in a second. But, so, question for you: if you were married to a first responder, would you want the gory details?
Probably, but I also tend to compartmentalize everything. So when I've had some horrendous phone calls, I go home and I've told her this before. There's a spot on the highway I used to drop all my work business off. Okay. And I would drive home. I'd pick up my home life, and then I'd drive into work. I'd pick up my work life, and then I'd think about that call again, or that scenario again, or that whatever again. So I'm more of I want details, but I also can compartmentalize, and it doesn't affect me so much.
See,
it's probably bad, but
yeah, and that's the thing is like being married to a first responder. Or at least somebody that knows the first responder code and like literally call codes, right? Mm-hmm. I could say code to her and she knew exactly what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. If I was with another person that wasn't in that profession, I don't know if I would be that type of person. I'd be like, I don't want to burden them with the call.
I think you still didn't want to burden me because you wouldn't go into details about stuff. You would just give like a sentence and then be done.
Yeah, but you would understand what I was talking about. So that's, I could say, I was on a 451 and you'd be like, oh, and if I needed to talk more, I could, but just saying that code with you, like it changed what I needed to say, or at least I was able to off-gas a little bit.
That's homicide for you, non-Mesa people.
I was like, I don't know that wasn't in Nashville.
So
that's crazy. I still couldn't remember that.
Is the same for Gilbert?
No, homicide is 555.
Oh. That's retarded. Can we say that? Oh shit! We're gonna flag. We're gonna flag. So I think because I brought it up in group, and it was a very mixed view for everybody in the room.
Is that what you guys talked about this week?
No, this was a couple weeks back. Were you there?
So
Yeah. So
you need to introduce who the you is.
sorry. So behind the camera, we have Kate. So we had, the conversation was, people that are coming off the job and they still have a lot of things that are coming out. They're dealing with it in counseling. Do they talk to their spouses about it or not? And then I was like, well, how much of that information do you actually disclose? Is it everything, or do you say nothing? Because we have some people that have gone their whole career and never burdened their spouse with anything. And now they're dealing with all their backlash from all the stuff that's coming out.
Who they are or the spouses are?
No, the first responder.
Okay.
So now they're like, well, do I tell my wife now? And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you? But that's just me.
But do they need to know the details, or
and that's where the question is like, how much of the detail do you give? Do you just give the broad sense of like, hey, I was out with this kid death. Okay. Or do you say, hey, I was out with this kid death. It was a school bus that ran over a kid. I don't know. Or do you go even more and say,
I think it depends on the spouse then. Maybe like you have to know like how much they can take, like what is their background, because like my mother-in-law would never, I would say she lives in like a bubble where things are good. She doesn't want to know the gory details of anything, right? And I think there's just a lot of people who they can't. This is something in them that they just can't. They don't want to hear it. Don't want to believe those things exist, I guess.
I'm the one that's like, tell
More.
me everything.
Trauma dump on me, please.
For my memoirs.
So yeah, that's where it goes like back and forth. So I would maybe suggest then talk with your spouse, with maybe a mediator or a counselor, and say, hey, these are some of the things I'm dealing with. You let me know if this is.
Do you mean once you're already in it though?
Either
or
one. Like if you're needing to get stuff off your chest, or if you're, retired now and you're like, hey, I just need help to get rid of all the stuff that I've had.
Well, I think if you've already been with someone for a while, like they know something's not right. No matter how good you are, they can tell those little things that you guys think were just like, oh, I'm just getting prepared, mentally preparing because I hate fucking Tuesdays or whatever because it's my Monday. You do, like she said, you withdraw, you just get quiet, like you're just in your head more, and we can see that. And so it's not like you're retired and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, what happened? You've been fine for 25 years and now you're not okay? What? No, they have known for a long time that something's not right. They just don't know how to approach it probably, or you're not offering anything to begin with, so they don't know necessarily what specific calls for service are in your head, but they know something with the job has had an impact on you and has affected all the things.
I think some of the spouses though think, oh, you're just an asshole, and you've become that over time, and they don't really look to see what the problem is, whereas with us it's like, fix this, there's something wrong here. Fix this.
I would agree with that, because before I had the spouse, and so I would go into these group meetings and I would hear spouses speak, and I can remember being like semi-offended for the cop, because I'd be like, how do they not know that he's not just an asshole? He's an asshole because he's seen 12 babies die in 2 days, like how do they not get that part of it? But they don't. Sometimes you are just an asshole to them. Your behaviors have just, all they're seeing are the behaviors. They're not peeling the onion to know what's below, and that might be your fault for not having shared anything.
Well, see, and that's where I'm bringing that up. Like, maybe it is a good idea to share some stuff. And if you need to have that third-party person kind of guide it, then do that. Because the idea of like, well, I don't want to burden my spouse with this, you're already doing it. You're just not telling the reason why you're doing it.
Yeah, they just have no clue what's going on.
Right.
They just know something's
And
not
I think
right.
that's the point you're trying to make, is like, he's an asshole for a reason, or she's an asshole for a reason. And it's not because that's their personality. It's because they have so much shit going on, but they don't know how to get rid of it.
Part of the thing too is that even the first responder doesn't know what's going on, because
Yes.
I've talked to some first responder wives, and then their spouse will go to the group, and the wife's like, he's fine, there's no issue, and then they go to the group, and then all the issues come out, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that was because of this. I thought it was just because whatever, you know. So I think even the first responder doesn't always know, and I think that's what you guys are actually trying to take that away, so that people can recognize that before it gets too late.
Yeah, if we can take that stigma kind of away from it and make it okay to not be okay sometimes, like there is a good world out there, you know, but we're so skewed and jaded for so long that it until you see the good in people, like you're gonna think everybody's a shithead.
Well, that's all. We're not getting calls for service to like birthday parties unless there's a fight at the birthday party. You know, we only get calls for service for bad things in someone's life, and
Unless you're delivering a baby.
oh yeah,
I had that once. That was my only good call. You had that, right?
that'd be kind of scary. I don't
Side
know
of the
that I'd
highway
wanna
in the
do that.
back of an Escalade on Mother's Day morning.
Wow.
You're like, send me a picture.
Picture
Side
didn't
note,
happen.
anybody that watches a pregnancy is not beautiful.
A
I don't care.
pregnancy or a birth?
A birth. It's not beautiful at all.
The whole entire
Okay.
pregnancy is just ugly.
All right, so getting back to what you were talking about, I've totally lost my train of thought now
Sorry.
because I was now thinking
Because
of
of ugly pregnancy.
yeah. What was it? I said we're gonna get back to it.
The rice pudding.
Oh.
No, it was talking about D and.
Oh yeah, she said something.
Oh, well, now I'm lost.
Anyways, we'll figure it out. So it was we were talking about the pre-gaming for the work week and stuff like that, and you notice these different changes. Right?
Well, yes. What I notice, so he works all the time, but typically Tuesday is the Monday for us, and like I can tell. I think he also is more aware of things now too, but like typically Monday night, you can like he's already in his head preparing for the like just hate work kind of thing. Like the week is starting, and whatever he doesn't like about work is now in his head. So he's just more quiet or busybodied. Like he needs to get things done at home or whatever. Like I don't know.
How come you never had that problem?
My husband is great at that. When he's not okay, he would clean the house.
Rage cleaning.
Yes.
Apparently, D's making me look like a bad husband.
Just joking.
No, so for me personally, I know it was like, you know, preparing for the week. That way, and this is going to sound selfish, so I apologize. But it's one of those things like, if I quiet the house, if something happens to me, I won't burden the family with that. Like if I leave on, you know, to go to shift, and I'm like, I love everybody and I'm super excited, you know, and it raises that excitement for the house, and then something happens to me, like I've created that problem. But if I quiet the house and everybody kind of like, well, Dad's secluded, then it won't be as much of an impact if I don't return. Does that make sense?
So you think
It's kind of a weird,
yeah,
morbid thought, but it's
by isolating that we'll forget it, that you're there?
sure. I don't know. It's just, it was a weird way to look at it.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's just kind of what I did.
Yeah.
So
And the isolation did get
worse.
worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
He started eating his dinner in his office, watching TV, and then one day I was just like, get out of here. You gotta come eat dinner with us again.
Yeah. So if you're in it, don't do that.
Yeah.
Be a family person.
It's hard though, I'm sure.
Yeah, that transition, right? To like turn it off and go back to normal, happy family life when, especially if you have something weighing on you from work.
Yeah. So I guess here's the other question then. What was the transition from work week to weekend for you guys?
You had to have your downtime to kind of release all of that, but by the time you've released that, now you got to go back to work. So there wasn't much regular. You did try your best.
What about for you guys?
Normally by Friday, even though he does off-duty stuff on the weekend, normally by Friday, he's starting to come back around. Like I think he's excited for the off time, that he's starting to be able to feel that excitement again. So the weekends
Has that
are usually
always
pretty
been that
good.
way though, or did you notice like a shift because now there's a difference in his perspective?
I would say it's probably more in the last couple years. I think before it was just kind of like it took the downtime, right, to come off of it, and then it was like right back into it. I can remember when I was going through it, though, it was the same thing for me. Like, I worked Monday through Thursday, but like Sunday was the best time. Sunday during the day, I finally was like, yes, I'm okay now. And then Sunday night would come and be like, fuck, I gotta go do this again. And so I'd have like the daytime, and that was it. So,
Well, I think it's even worse if you're doing shift work, right? So if you're doing Graves overnight shift, you get off on your Friday, come home, and some people either try to sleep for a little bit or just stay up.
Mm-hmm.
That was
So-
the worst when you were on Graves. He was on duty for what, like 12 years, and then you're like, I'm gonna start on Graves.
I did the same
Let's go to
thing. It was
Graves.
so much more fun on Graves.
And I was like, okay, he picked this schedule without even talking to me, so I can't undo that. And
that
then
was a totally different argument.
yeah, that was a big thing. And then he was on Graves for a couple years, and I said, you're done. Get off Graves. This is not working. He was
Yeah.
angry and short fused, and yeah. That was
no sleep. Lack
Everybody
of sleep.
thought I was fine.
Who's everybody?
Yeah. Everybody.
Okay.
Because D works like swings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 2 to midnight or?
12 to 10.
Oh, that's awesome. Damn it.
It is, but it isn't. Because if he works late, he still has to get up to go pick up his kid early. So he's up by 6 every day. No matter, he doesn't have a sleep-in day ever. So that sucks for him. But
Routine is good though,
yeah.
whether you want it or not.
I would say, well, you used to only sleep for like 4 hours, and then you're like, let's go. Let's do all the things.
It was weird, but yeah, my body probably needed more, but my brain was like, get up, shithead.
Yeah.
Did you start, when you started work, did you start on Graves?
Mhm.
So did I. Do you remember when you, so I went from Graves to like a swing shift, and I can remember being on like an accident on swings, like one of my first swing shifts, and I remember standing there and being like, oh man, I am so awake. This is wild. I was like, what's happened?
It's different.
Totally.
Were you
different.
on Graves?
Mm-hmm. For 6.5 of my 10.5 in Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah.
What
it
was
like,
the time for the Graves, though?
We were 10:30 to 7.
See, that was the
that's
worst
weird.
part of Graves is that because we worked 10 to 8 in the morning.
ew.
You
Yeah.
guys
Those
it
are
was-
late hours.
No,
Well,
we were
and the
eight.
shitty part was that
that's
6
worse.
to 8 because the sun comes up and you're like, oh my god.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I think
Did,
we were.
23 to 09. That was horrible.
Oh,
Yeah, but you guys were inside.
Gross.
Yeah,
Then you
but-
gotta drive home.
But the 6 a.m. people would come in, and they're like, hi, how are you? And we're
You're
like,
like, shut the I get that.
Our Graves was 9 to 7.
Damn it.
she said theirs were 8-hour shifts.
Yeah, we worked 5.
Well, I
Chicken
think
stuff.
they went through all kinds of different like shift options they were trying, and I mean every department tries different things to see what's more practical and what works, and like I always want to do like the 312s, but
That
never
I
have 'em.
liked the 312s.
Mm-hmm. 3
But
on,
working
4 off.
312s would suck.
Yeah.
The only, I mean, because you'd be like, oh, I get 4 days off. Okay, those 4 days you're down for the count. Okay. Fair enough. So, all right. So, getting back to more of problems that you might have seen.
Might have seen.
Well, I mean, I don't want to sit. I don't want to just throw myself on the sword now. So things that you guys have seen,
Hypothetically
Yeah.
could have seen.
possibly, probably,
Mhm.
with being married to first responders.
It's not easy. I
All
don't
right,
know.
I guess we're done. Give me a little
I
more
don't
net.
know. I was trying to think.
What's not easy about it?
She sounds like she has an answer.
I'm not good with the withdrawing. Like when I notice he's just quieter, I guess.
But is
not-
that
not
because
as
of your
engaging.
journey or because of marriage?
No, I think that's his work issues and like just him just being in his head. So he just gets like very withdrawn when he's. I say not well. I don't know. That's
No, but I'm saying you not liking the withdrawals, is that because of your journey or because of the marriage portion of it? Because you probably did the same thing as a
Okay.
cop. So
And I'm sure I
But
did the
now
same thing the
knowing-
first few years we were together. I'm
right,
sure it
but
was me.
knowing that now, is that why it bothers you?
No, I think it's just being a spouse. The why it bothers me, just having that like distance and that lack of connection. Like we have a really great relationship, and so when things are great, things are always like super amazing. So I'm very sensitive to when he's slightly off or not feeling the best because it changes everything, and I don't like it at all. And I'm very much on. You know, I've been in like counseling for 10 years, so I'm very much like, we need to communicate. Let's talk about these things. And sometimes he just doesn't want to talk about the things, right? Or he just doesn't recognize it, that he's being quiet or withdrawn. He thinks he's got it all under control and everything's going about as normal. But I can pick up the little differences, and even sometimes I always tell him like it just looks heavy on you. The way you're walking looks heavy on you. And I can just see it in like facial expressions or, you know, the lack of communication or something. And so for me, I don't like it because I feel like we have solutions now and there's ways to get through this, and we should be doing all the things to make these things better and easier and less heavy, I guess.
That makes sense. I'm huge about communicating and discussing things before they boil over. What is that face? But it was weird, like when you started withdrawing, it was almost like peaceful because you weren't out there picking fights with everybody, picking arguments with people. So when you kind of moved into your office to watch TV, I was like, okay, he's calm now, so we can be fine out here. I didn't like it, but it was also peaceful. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was bad.
Yeah. So but then it got to a point where I was like, okay, you need to do something different, because sitting in here and doing everything, eating, watching TV, just hanging out, playing your video games all day long is not working.
Yeah.
So were you just like short fused, or what was the not peaceful parts of you?
Well, we had other stuff that arose at the same time.
Yeah, we had just taken in our daughters now, but they would have been our foster kids. But that was a challenge. I was on Graves, sleeping maybe 3 hours, and then it'd be like, now the girls are home from school with all the problems and trying to figure out that whole thing with DCS, and are they going back to biological parents? Are they staying with us?
We never
what
had
are we fighting
a
for?
break. There was
There was
problems
nothing.
at work, stress at work, come home, stress at home. So you never had a break from any of that stress.
Yeah, but we did talk about it this week at group, was like when the first responder hits that point of like anger. Now they're just picking fights to pick a fight, just because that's their comfortable zone is the chaos. So it's like, why are we doing that? Why are we creating more chaos where we should have peace, and then we try to have peace where we have chaos, right? So now it's like we're flip-flopping, our worlds.
Well, that was the thing that was always weird to me, because I didn't like chaos, and I told you that from the beginning. I don't like it, and I would literally just like leave And then
she like when we first got together, she would not fight with me, and I was like, this is not normal. Like, why are you not fighting with me? Because my previous relationship was always fighting, and I was like, this is too calm. Like, what is wrong with this? And I was what was wrong with it. Like, it was on me. But that's what I wanted. As I wanted that chaos, and if I didn't have it, I would create the chaos.
I would just go stay at my friend's or my parents' house. I would just be gone. Like, I remember one time you were taking a shower and I packed up my stuff and I left, and you came out and you were like, oh, what the hell? Where are you? And I was like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
And that was all my fault. So, yeah. So, all right, here's a question. Knowing where you guys are at now in a relationship, because I would say our marriage is very good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do we have our little hiccups here and there? Sure. Rice pudding.
I was like,
But knowing where you're at now, what would you tell yourself going into this? What to look for, what to do when you started seeing these weird behaviors to prevent all the hardship that you went through?
I think
Does
I
that
would
make sense?
harp on you more to communicate instead of bottling everything up, because I know we're making a joke about rice pudding, but yeah, if that was something that I knew that was like leading up to something that was going to boil over, like I would probably press you more to communicate.
Okay.
But would you have actually communicated, or would it have pushed you further away?
No. Jamie for the most part does a great job where she can get me back on track. Because she'll say certain things, and in my mind I'm like, come on, bonehead, like get out of your head.
But I have to wait though. I have to wait.
There is that
7
point.
to 10 business days.
No, there is that point where I have to calm down first, because if I'm in the red zone, like there's no point.
That's why, and it seems like I don't care about you, but I'm just like,
And then I'm like, well, why did you say anything?
Yes, I think sometimes it's just a lose-lose, because
Yeah.
I can see that too. We went into this knowing what we were both going into, right? He knew when we got back together that I had already gone through this and where I was, and then I knew that the potential for him to be right where I was always there, or he should have already been through it. So I forgot your question, but
So knowing what you know, like knowing that advice that you have now, what would you tell yourself going into this to where you may have saved yourself some heartache?
Well, I do
or
think, like her,
fights
I
or
think
whatever?
communication is huge. I think I think being with the right person matters too, because I think sometimes you can try all the things in the world, and if it's just not, things aren't clicking correctly, they're not going to click no matter how much you communicate. But I think communication is really huge. But I also don't think that you can plan for this, because everyone is going to respond and react differently. It's going to happen to them in different ways. What you are when you get there is going to be the same as what everyone else feels, but how you get there, how long it takes you, and is all going to be different. And even there are people who still don't. They can totally be in it and not realize that they're in it. So they're not even comprehending the conversations that we're having, because to them they're fine. So they don't, until they're ready to see it and acknowledge it, they're not even going to recognize that it's an issue or that they're the issue.
No, and the reason I'm bringing these questions up is hopefully people that have not thought about this, maybe it puts that idea at least in their head and say, oh, maybe I should be paying attention to this more, versus like creating more of the problem. Like you were saying, yes, you liked having the peace of me succeeding.
I liked it, but I also
but
hated it.
it created problems.
Yeah.
Right. It made me worse, because now I was intentionally doing it. Not saying that you intentionally like just said, hey, go fuck off. But, is it creating a bigger problem by just allowing certain things to happen? Having spouses that are like walking on eggshells to keep the peace versus like, hey, no, we're not
Let's
talking
talk
this.
about
We
this.
need to face this. We need to look at this differently.
Well, I think I was fine with the peace kind of until Ava went in to ask you for a Band-Aid or something. She cut her finger and you were playing a video game and you sent her to go ask me, and I was like, Absolutely not. Like, you need to check back into this family and participate. So I think that was the time where I was like, okay, we're done. We're done isolating. We're done pushing us all away. You need to check back in.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, I would tell future self, when your husband gets excited about rice pudding, just order the damn rice pudding. Don't even ask if he wants it. Just order it.
If you know, you know. No, and I think those are good points, and hopefully it reaches someone that's either watching or listening to this, that this is normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not acceptable normal, but it is normal in the first responder
in the responder world. Yeah,
right?
and I'll say, like, going back, because I grew up in this, right? I can see now where things that were very normal in my childhood that I thought were like kind of silly. My dad's behavior, some of the things, the way he would react to some things that we would like laugh at afterwards, because I was like, that was the most ridiculous response to a nothing. Now I know that it most likely is tied to all of this, where I don't think it was something that anybody ever talked about back then. And that was just like, we would just be like, oh, that's just how my dad is, you know, like we didn't know that like overreacting to a bad play or a bad call on the football game was not a typically normal response, you know, like, or just having some off the wall response, a reaction to something that should have been a nothing is, I don't know, just, it is very normal. Because we normalize it at home because it's our life, I guess.
Well, and that's the thing, yeah, the normalizing, like, especially with the twins, they do something to set you off, and I'd be like, just leave him alone, he's blah, 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 you know, and,
we think it's easier.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that's where like the kids get caught up in it, and we don't realize we're putting something on the kids that they don't need, that isn't normal for them. We shouldn't be normalizing like dad acting loony because he's had a bad night. Like, we should figure out how to normalize what's happening for you, to make it better, versus making your behavior and reaction the normal in our house.
Yeah. I will say you have done a really good job of checking back in and making sure that you're not doing that stuff, like not isolating and participating more.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
I know I'm not perfect. I know I look perfect, but
well, nobody's perfect, but I mean, I'm as close as it's gonna get. But
no, and talking about the kids stuff now, I mean, that's what I really like about what we're doing with Afterwatch, is we're trying to give these kids a voice again,
Right.
with doing the reconnection stuff, doing the teen confidence building with Toscano Farms and all that other stuff. So it's cool that we're trying to implement not just the first responders' spouses, but kids. So that's our cheap plug.
But it is a cool thing, because the kids, I mean, I can think about like my own children, like I don't know that they would say out loud, maybe they would now because they're all old adults, but you know what kind of traumas I put on them as kids, just coming home, and even like, and I know there are things like, you know, places I wouldn't let them go because I know what happens there, or, you know, like, you're not going to spend the night at that family's house because I don't know about that older brother, you know, just things that most parents don't really, non-first responder families don't think about. Like, my kids had like all the rules. They knew like what they were allowed and not allowed to do because of my personal experiences at work, you know, and I still do it with my kids when, you know, we talk about like drinking and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, no, because I went to this call and there was an 18-year-old for the first, you know, like, and that's something that stuck with me. And I like, all my kids know that story because I was like, you're not going to be that kid. You're not going to die because you decided to drink too much and no one was paying attention to you. Like, that most families don't talk like that.
And that, I think that's also a blessing for us, because we do see the darkness that's out there. So we're able to protect our kids from some of that stuff, whether it's good or bad, you know. Sometimes we overprotect. But I mean,
but
yeah,
I think too, though, you also find a way to not overprotect. Like when Ava wanted to go to the haunted house that was in not the best area, you thought about it and actually made an informed decision instead of a police officer decision. You know, you didn't just go, nope, you're not going because I don't like that area.
Well, in my head, I was like, fuck no. But yeah.
You're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other words of wisdom for the audience before we end this?
Just don't turn the volume up on the radio without asking, and
Gosh.
order the rice pudding. I'm gonna buy you like a 5-gallon bucket of rice puddings.
I just wanted a small amount.
And you already got him AirPods, so
That's true.
you don't have to turn up the radio.
Yeah, that's true. Anything for you? Anything from you?
No.
Nothing? All right.
How about from you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your take on all of the wives talking?
If I could go back to younger me, walking into a marriage with you, I would definitely tell myself I need to be more compassionate with you and be more understanding of your reactions to some of my reactions. And I would take a minute to say, hey, is it worth reacting this way? Because it's not. You know, all the stupid arguments that we've had, you know, even though you were the one to blame for it, they were all my fault. They were 100% my fault because it was just me either having too much of an ego, not wanting to admit when I was wrong, not wanting to give in, you know, that kind of stuff. It's all bullshit. It doesn't. It's stuff that I shouldn't have done, and it's stuff that could have easily been prevented.
Yeah, but if you think back and if all of that didn't happen, would our relationship be as strong as it is today?
No,
Or
I
would
agree.
you
No,
be
I agree with you. But
complacent and
it's
not
one of those things
yeah.
that I'm saying these things that hopefully it resonates with somebody else to whether when the red zone does happen, they're going to think and say, hey, I've heard this somewhere. Why am I doing this?
That's true. But I wouldn't go back and change because I think we've built a very strong marriage
Right.
because of that.
And I think, you know, because we talk about God a lot, God puts you in a situation for a reason. You have to go through these trials and tribulations. And if you're not going through the hard stuff, then what's the point?
Yeah.
But if we can also have people think about those hard things and walk into it properly informed, we might have a better outlook.
Because you do have to have a couple fights here and there to zhuzh up the relationship. I'm just waiting for next year what that's going to be about.
Yeah. I've been able to extend my fights to about a year.
Yeah. Because the last one was about a year ago, and I turned up the volume in the car. He got so mad.
And then we'd go to a point where I wouldn't talk to her for like a week. It's stupid, but I'm fucking holding my ground.
Is that a guy thing? Is it a guy
100%.
thing? Cop thing?
Yeah.
I think it's a guy thing.
I think
More than
it's a
cop
guy
thing, too.
cop
Yeah.
thing.
I think more if you're a guy and a cop.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you said your husband.
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
it?
he doesn't do that at all. He's usually the first to apologize. I am very stubborn. We had this conversation just the other day. We'll get into a big fight, and instead of saying, hey, I'm really sorry I hurt your feelings, I'm like, hey, sorry I was an asshole. And then I just walk away. But he'll be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I know that you did this, and you're trying this, and you're doing that. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I even told James our conversation the other day. He goes, but I know that that's you. He's like, and I'm okay with that. And I know there's heart behind it. You're just blunt and put it out there, and you don't need all the feel goods.
Yeah.
I like to feel goods.
It's important, and that's reconnect with your family. If you've separated yourself, if you've secluded yourself, reconnect, because there is good stuff out there. I will say we've had our trials with kids. Even my son fucked up big time. You know, but he bounced back and became a good kid. The twins became good kids, both in the military, all three of them. You know, so
We're just waiting to see what Ava's gonna do.
Yeah. And she's the easy one. Fuck, she's super easy.
Yeah, but don't be blinded.
Yeah. All right. Anything to close it out?
But will you say that I don't take your crap from you?
What?
I don't take your crap from you, right?
What?
Would you like me?
This isn't working. No, you definitely don't take my shit.
I love that she would just get up and leave.
I know. I've told her, I'm like, I'm kind of envious of that. I can't do that. I'm like,
Oh, it would send him to a whole other planet, but
Yeah.
he'd be blowing up my phone, and I'd have to shut off notifications because I'm like, nope, I'm going over here. I'm gonna be gone.
When you calm down, I'll check in. Is that how it went?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're ready to, I think I would have said this. When you're ready to be an adult and act like a
I
grown
have
up.
said that
No.
before.
Yeah.
And I'm
Then we
glad.
can talk.
I'm glad she did it because I mean it would just be a pointless argument. I mean it would just be.
You're fighting to fight.
Yeah, but I was internally. I was like, what is the next fucked up thing that I could say?
Yeah. I think I left
Oh,
one
I was-
time. I was
no,
in
I
the
was
middle
mean.
of making dinner too, and I was like, I'm out.
No, and that was one thing. Once I started like EMDR with Lauren, then it changed.
Oh yeah,
And
that was a
then all of a
switch.
sudden it was like, oh, I don't have to be that person. But yeah, I was the dickhead.
No,
That
you
was
did
bad.
EMDR with a different counselor years before that, and the switch started flipping right then.
Yeah, but it
Was the
re-sparked
beginning of
with
it.
you. It re-sparked because I was picking those types of fights with you.
No, I'm saying there was one time where I was like, I'm done. We're done. And you're like, wait, I have EMDR on Monday. Can you give me a chance? And I was like, okay, fine. And then the switch immediately flipped from that point.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, it switched back the other direction. And
It's maintenance. You got to
Yeah.
do maintenance.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.